Thank you, Alison Cola. Tánaiste the UHL. And we'll start off on a positive note, where the Minister opened the 96th bed unit in UHL on the 13th of October. The HICRA report, which we waited a year and a half for, but we have it, states exactly what I've been saying, others have been saying here for years about UHL. And then we came out with a point A plan, B plan and a C plan. My own verse is that we need A, B with working for C. Now A would involve expanding the capacity of UHL. B is envisage the ED staying on the existing site along with the infrastructure for critical and complex surgical procedures. And C is a new hospital for the future. And again, on a positive note, there was a meeting held here yesterday, conveyed by Deputy Cooney. It was well attended by all parties and none. For the first time, I was at a meeting where unanimously everyone in the room were on the same wavelength. 100%, all parties were there. And they said AB plus C. What we want to make sure is, I don't want this going back into departments and being buried under paperwork and somebody getting paid stupid money to come up and not deliver. We've had a private hospital built in Limerick, 16 months on budget, on time. Let's use that model against the spending on our hospitals here in Ireland, what the department tried to deliver in hospitals. Let's do one after the other. That private hospital contractor made profit on that building. So why can't we build our hospitals cheaper? And we take out the profit margin of it. Why don't we go to the private sector, deliver it? So I want A, B and C. I'm going to work with everyone that's in that room. There was other people that couldn't attend, but they're also in favour of this. Minister Patrick O'Donovan is there across the table. I do hope he backs this as well. Because we want, for the Midwest region, we want a new hospital. People in Limerick, Tipperary, Clare, their lives are at risk unless we deliver this. And I will say this, and I've been critical of UHL since the start. I'm delighted that the existing management are gone. But I'm delighted with the existing management that are there at the moment, because they're working with everyone that was at that meeting yesterday. They could not speak highly enough of the management that's in situation at the moment. I do know Bernard Gloucester is retiring, a massive loss, but it's on the government's hands that who takes his place better be as good as he is, because otherwise we're going down the same rabbit hole again.
Thanks very much to Deputy O'Donoghue for raising this matter. And I must say I find myself in agreement with a lot of what he says. In fact, if not almost all, but let me tease through it. And just, I know Minister O'Donovan was away on government business yesterday, but he does intend to work with everybody on this, because I think what you said and the tone in which you said it is really important. There are some things that just are more important than party politics and shouting and roaring at each other in here. And healthcare and making sure that people in the Midwest have a proper fit-for-purpose health service is our priority. It's the priority of the Minister for Health, priority of everybody I know across this House. And let's proceed on that basis is the first thing I want to say. I know you and Midwest TDs have been very vocal advocates for the improvement of services at UHL for a sustained period of time. And I do think that need for a comprehensive approach to the provision of services in the short term and the long term, because people can't wait forever and a day. People need stuff now, and then they need to know where this is going in the time ahead. So we're fully committed to improving services in the Midwest region. I welcome your comments about the new 96-bed block at UHL. I hope that's seen as a sign of the government's commitment, and I know you were there at the opening, and I think that I want to acknowledge that too. And I'm glad to say, not that anybody wants to see anybody on a trolley, but we're beginning to see the benefit of that extra capacity, because the new management team that you mentioned, I too know them to be good people based on my past postings. But I'm glad to report that the average number of people waiting on trolleys at UHL has halved in the 3 weeks since the new 96-bed block opened compared to the 3 weeks prior. Now, still too high, but it did show the benefit. You put in extra beds, you put in the right management, and you can begin to see improvements. Importantly also, there's now enabling works underway for a second 96-bed block So that's the important thing, that's now underway. 2, and then a further 84 inpatient beds are planned at UHL through the acute hospital inpatient bed capacity expansion plan. That's quite a mouthful. These projects include 32 rapid build beds, the first 96-bed block, and when you add that up, we'll increase bed capacity through all of these variety of initiatives by 308 beds by 2028, with 572 new beds across the region by 2031. Now let's get back to the HICWA review. We have a roadmap. The HICWA review came forward and it gave us 3 options. But you're kind of right. Did it necessarily give us 3 options, or did it give us kind of a menu to work through? So the Minister did brief the government on the 30th of September. First thing it said was, option 1, expand capacity at UHL Dooradale site. Well, let's all agree we started that. We need to do more of that. The quicker the better. And the point about infrastructure delivery, cutting through red tape, we're going to have proposals from Minister Chambers' department very shortly, probably this month, on how we speed up infrastructure delivery. Secondly, it said extend the UHL hospital campus to comprise the existing Dooradale site and another site. And then thirdly, it talked about the potential to develop a Model 3 hospital in the HSE Midwest. Alongside these options, HIC was also presented an extensive number of additional considerations, including system-wide work reforms, I suppose, that need to be progressed in parallel. So let me be really clear. All options remain on the table. The government hasn't ruled out doing any of these or doing all of them. That hasn't happened. The extensive findings and considerations presented by HICWA are being considered fully by the Minister and her officials. And in terms of this not dragging on, the Minister has committed to reporting back to government on next steps by Christmas.
And it's unusual to we're agreeing with 100% across the board and both sides of the House that this needs to happen. This is actually a health emergency, and under COVID guidelines we were able to do an awful lot of things under health emergencies. We've had John Wall with us yesterday for the patient safety, was there yesterday. We have an emergency. Why can't we use emergency powers and legislate that this happens now? We have commitment of the House that it needs to happen now. The people of the Midwest need this now. And the biggest thing here, we're gone almost €1 billion over budget in a children's hospital here in Dublin. That would actually build the hospital in Limerick and care for a lot of people. Build a box, put a box on top of a box. We haven't even looked at what it's going to maintain the outside of the children's hospital because of all the curvatures and glass that's been in that building. It's about the care within a building. You look at an old 2-storey Georgian house which are there for generations. They're a beautiful looking house. They're a box. Why can't we just build a box and build the care for the people that deserve the care and stop all these expensive designs? It's about the care and the equipment in the building. Deputy. It's not about the look of a building.
Yeah, so look, we're fully committed to UHL, we're fully committed to the Midwest, and let's hope that this Dáil, as in this term of this Dáil, signals a new dawn in terms of actually moving forward on the HICWA report. Now, if the last Dáil was about commissioning HICWA reports and having that's all done now, I agree with you, we don't need a whole load of palaver around next steps. We need the Minister to do her job, which she's doing extremely well, and report back to government by Christmas. That's her intention. She's fully supported by everyone in government and I think everyone in opposition in terms of making that progress. We've increased the budget of UHL very significantly from 265 million in 2019 to 507 million last year. We've increased the staff, we're putting in the bed capacity. Your broader point, I don't want to over-agree with you in case I kill your street cred, but your overall point about infrastructure delivery is right. Things are taking far too long. And there's simple things we can do and intend to do, and you'll have proposals from government on this by the end of the month. And one is move processes in parallel. We don't need to wait for planning permission to be fully finished to prepare procurement, processes need to move in parallel, and you can save significant amount of times. And I also think we'll need to see emergency legislation around the delivery of critical infrastructure in this House. And if government and opposition really want to get things moving, we should work together on that in the time ahead.